I never get tired of reciting those words. I never get tired of hearing those words. Because they were inspired by godly principles, by godly men. And that document then inspired the Constitution of the United States of America. And some people want to rewrite the Constitution. And if you've seen the latest cover of Time magazine, the disgusting story that suggests that we ought to shred the Constitution. Well, I'm here to tell you that as President of the United States, there won't be any rewriting of the Constitution. We will reread the Constitution and enforce the Constitution like the founding fathers intended. Reread and enforce. For nearly 235 years. Even though we have hit some bumps in the road, even though we have an administration and a president that wants to turn America into a government-dominated socialist country. But despite the bumps in the road that we have experienced, we know that this nation is resilient. When the founding fathers started this nation, they didn't have an overwhelming majority. Some people thought it was a crazy idea to fight the British in order to establish a free nation. But it only took a few dedicated patriots to get this nation started. And I describe in those patriots what I call the spirit of America. It was the spirit of America that led that revolution. And it was the spirit of America that allowed us to win our independence from those first 13 states, colonies. It was that same spirit of America that got this nation through the Civil War, when there were those who wanted to divide this nation. And a great leader by the name of Abraham Lincoln stepped forward and said, a nation divided cannot stand. And it was his leadership and his spirit that allowed the United States of America to prevail.
That spirit of America, it got us through World War I, when it appeared as if we were fighting against everybody else in the world, but we prevailed because of the spirit of the American people. The Great Depression, the spirit of America, got us through that turbulent time and those turbulent times. World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm. The spirit of America has been the glue that has allowed this nation to be resilient despite the challenges that we face. And today, on this Independence Day weekend celebration, it is that same spirit of America that has caused you to come here to this place to express the fact that you still believe in this nation and you represent that renewed spirit of America called the Tea Party Citizens Movement in the United States of America. The spirit of America, not bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. Not those that control the mainstream media. You are the spirit of America. And I also am part of that spirit of America. One of the questions that I get asked often by reporters when I'm doing interviews, they'll often ask, well, why do the Tea Party people like you so much? I want to say that's a pretty dumb question, but I want to finish the interview. I said, maybe it has something to do with the fact that I talk about common sense solutions to America's problems. Maybe that has something to do with it. We have become a nation of crises. We have so many issues. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that I know how to solve problems. I have led organizations, turned organizations around, taken different problem situations and fixed them, or led a team to get it done. We have an economic crisis. We've got an energy crisis. We've got an entitlement spending crisis. We have a moral crisis because there are those that are trying to take God out of our culture, and we're simply not going to let that happen. We have an immigration crisis. We have a foggy foreign policy crisis. And the biggest problem we have, the biggest crisis we have in this nation is a severe deficiency of leadership crisis. That's why I'm not president of the United States of America. Maybe the Tea Party people like me because I have a record of doing stuff instead of just talking about stuff. Maybe America is ready for a leader instead of a reader. Notice I couldn't rent a teleprompter for the evening. I don't do teleprompters. I know that after I'm president of the United States of America, there will be times that I'll have to use notes and I'll have to use teleprompters in order to be able to pronounce names like Ahmadinejad and Kim Jong-il and Junto Tao, and you know, I'm probably going to have to use notes when I get to that point. Right now, I'm focusing on the problems we have right here at home and what we need to do to fix them. And here's the good news, folks. It doesn't require rocket science to fix our problems. It requires some common sense and the will of the people.